Hey everyone, and welcome. So, if you're learning Russian, you already know the journey is, well, it's challenging, but it's also incredibly rewarding. The big question is, how do you actually prove your skills? Today, we're going to navigate the whole world of Russian language certification. We'll break down the official exams, the real-world hurdles you might face, and some of the bigger questions learners are asking right now.
All right, let's just start with a word that pretty much every Russian student has a love-hate relationship with. Достопримечательности. It means sites or landmarks, and honestly, for a lot of us, just being able to say that word out loud feels like a huge win. It really just perfectly captures that shared struggle and, the satisfaction of tackling this language.
And believe me, that challenge is real. Russian is widely considered one of the tougher languages for native English speakers to get a handle on. So before we even talk about tests, let's just quickly look at what that learning curve actually looks like.
Yeah, the road to fluency has some pretty famous battlegrounds, right? First, you've got the Cyrillic alphabet, which looks intimidating. Then come the sounds that, well, they just don't exist in English, like that infamous sound. On top of that, you have totally unpredictable word stress that can change a word's meaning completely. And of course, the count 'em six grammatical cases that are the backbone of every sentence. It all adds up, and you quickly realize that just translating word for word from English is a complete non-starter. It's a really complex system, which is exactly why having a standard way to measure your skill is so valuable.
So, how do you get that official stamp of approval for all your hard work? Well, for most learners around the globe, the answer comes down to one single, globally recognized exam.
And here it is. It's called the TORFL, which stands for the Test of Russian as a Foreign Language. This is the big one. It's supervised by the Russian Ministry of Education, and it is the official standard for checking how well non-native speakers know their stuff. You can basically think of it as the Russian version of the TOEFL for English or the DELF for French.
Okay, so the exam is broken down into 6 different levels, and these map directly onto that common European framework you might have heard of. It kicks off at A1, which is elementary. You can handle basic, everyday stuff, and it goes all the way up to C2, where we're talking near-native fluency. As a benchmark, that B1 level is often what you need to get into a Russian university.
And this is absolutely crucial. The TORFL isn't just a grammar quiz. No way. It's this comprehensive test that checks you on 5 key skills: writing, vocabulary and grammar, reading, listening, and speaking. To pass any level, you have to prove you're competent across the board. You can't just be good at one thing. You've got to show you can do it all.
But what does all this look like in the real world? I mean, to really get a feel for the intensity of this exam, especially at the higher levels, we're going to follow one learner's really high-stakes journey to pass the advanced C1 level.
So, meet Dr. Popkins. He's a super dedicated language learner who went for the full C1 exam. And get this, he passed 4 out of the 5 sections, which is an incredible achievement on its own. But he hit a wall. On the writing section, he scored a 57% when you absolutely need a 66% to pass. He called it a solid fail.
Now, look at this number, 89. To get ready for his retake of that one section, he put in 89 hours of focused study time over 6 months. Let that sink in. That's almost 90 hours just to improve his advanced Russian writing under exam pressure. It just speaks volumes about the level of dedication we're talking about here.
So what made it so tough? Well, the writing exam is split into 3 totally different tasks, and you have to do all of them in just an hour and 15 minutes. We're talking an informal letter, a super concise business communication, and then a general essay. Each one has its own style, its own strict word count, and just immense time pressure.
Oh, and to make things just a little more fun, after he prepared for a business fax, which is what all the prep material said, on the day of the exam, the task was suddenly changed to an email with no warning. This kind of thing really highlights a criticism some learners have, that there's a lack of official transparency that can throw even the most prepared person for a loop.
But here is the payoff. After all those hours, after that on-the-day surprise, he went back, retook the writing section, and scored a 71%, comfortably over the line. And with that, he secured his overall C1 certification. It's just an amazing testament to his perseverance.
Dr. Popkins' story is seriously inspiring, right? But his experience also taps into a much bigger conversation that's happening in the language learning community, especially for those of us living outside of Russia. People are starting to ask a pretty straightforward question. In today's world, is the official state-sanctioned TORFL exam the only way to get a recognized certification?
And this quote, which comes directly from a discussion on Reddit, just captures that feeling perfectly. You have learners who are looking for ways to get their skills validated for all sorts of personal and professional reasons, and some of them are starting to look for options that aren't directly connected to the official state system.
So this really brings us to the two main paths available right now. On one side, you've got the official, state-sanctioned TORFL. Its whole purpose is to give you a standardized, globally recognized level. It's the one you need for official stuff in Russia, like getting into a university. But on the other side, you've got certificates of completion from university language programs. Think Slavic departments at universities all over the world. These show that you finished a specific academic program, and they're great for supplementing a degree or just building up your personal portfolio.
And all of this leaves us with one final thought to chew on. For you, as the learner, what really defines mastery? Is it that official stamp from a standardized test that proves your level against some global benchmark? Or is it the knowledge you gained and the journey itself, maybe validated by finishing a really tough academic program? The answer, of course, is going to depend entirely on your own goals, both personal and professional.